What's up, fight fans? This is Kurt Taville with Counterpunch Boxing News, and I have some new news concerning Abel Sanchez. Of course, we know Abel Sanchez is the former trainer of Gennady Golovkin, and he has this to say about Golovkin Canelo 3. He says that Golovkin is worried, or should I say, he is worried that the former student will get seriously hurt in a likely trilogy fight with the Mexican superstar Canelo Alvarez. Sanchez trained Golovkin for nearly a decade. He had a bad falling out with the boxer, of course, last year after the two were unable to come to terms. That's why they split up. Backstory, okay? Now, he says, this one maybe will hurt. Not because I'm not with him, but this time it could hurt because he gets hurt. This trilogy is not the most significant. It's the most dangerous because you're talking about a guy who is at his peak now and believes he can do the same thing to Gennady Golovkin he did to Kovalev, Sanchez explains. He says Canelo baited and waited for the right moment, and it was destructive. I would hate to see Gennady go into that fight, or I would rather not see the fight than to see Gennady Golovkin succumb to something like that. Not being prepared physically and mentally. Wow. Those are the words of Abel Sanchez. You know, the comment on this, I know you're going to get Canelo, Gennady, Triple G lovers, you know, because he had a following of his fans, and a lot of them are going to say this, but see, we don't really know, we honestly don't know what condition that Gennady Golovkin is in. The man is 38 years old. You know, that man's my age, people. And he's tough. He has a good chin. He has good boxing attributes. You know, he's limited. We've seen that in the Canelo fight, the first one especially, you know, and when he stepped up in competition finally, we seen the knockout stopped, right? And we also know that Abel Sanchez used to train Gennady Golovkin, and they had a bad falling out, and it was about money. Because when Gennady Golovkin left, signed with DAZN, he had a lot of money coming, and Abel Sanchez wanted to know about his cut, and then I guess he asked for too much. Anyway, long story short, more money, more problems, and Gennady Golovkin decided to leave him. Now he's with Jonathan Banks. Okay, now, does that mean he's speaking through a biased standpoint? It could. It could mean that because of the way they parted. Because to Abel Sanchez, he was like, that was like a son to me. You guys already read that he trained him down there a decade. So they got pretty close, and he was one of his top pupils, you know. And if this is coming from a biased standpoint, we won't know. But what can we say about what Abel Sanchez said? Can we call that false? No, we can't. Why? Because there's a possibility Canelo Alvarez can beat the brakes off Golovkin and probably hurt him, like Abel said. Why? Because, first of all, Oscar De La Hoya knew. Okay, I'm not sure about Canelo. I knew Oscar De La Hoya. Oscar De La Hoya knew when to strike when the iron is hot. He knew the best possible time to start fighting Golovkin because he was trying to rank, promote Canelo at a Canelo weight, but he was the middleweight champion. That was fuck up number one, right? So because he knew one day he was going to have to fight the unified champ, which was Gennady Golovkin, the guy that had the other two belts. So they gave the belt to them, so he had a moral victory. He goes in there with Golovkin a year after that, okay, in 2017. By that time, Golovkin was 36, right? 36 years old. That was the time to strike. Oscar knew it. He mobilized it, planned it, made it work, and he got a draw. Somewhere down the line, A few months later, he was going to fight him in a rematch. Canelo ends up popping dirty for clenbuterol. So they wait another 6 months. Now this is a whole year that passed since then, people. By this time, he's 37. Right? He's 37 years old now. Then we have a majority decision. He beats Golovkin. Well, Golovkin leaves Abel Sanchez, signs with DAZN, not in that order. Gets with Jonathan Banks. You know, fights Steve Rose, an undefeated person we never heard of from Canada. Then goes in and fights a tough, durable fight. He avoids tough fights. Okay, started avoiding tough fights, wanting a Canelo 3 fight. Okay, but then Deverenchenko hurts him bad. I never seen Golovkin like that. So he hurts him, still pulls out a victory. Meanwhile, Canelo's getting better. The guy's still not even 30 years old yet, right? He damn near has this boy by a decade. Let's face it. You know, and like Abel Sanchez said, and I will agree, he's at his peak. Canelo's at his peak right now. He's not going to get any better than he is right now, but he's very good. And Canelo gets better, especially if he has to fight a motherfucker 3 times. Okay? So he knows what Golovkin is capable of, but then this is a Golovkin that's doing this, not at his peak. He's on the downcline of his career. He should have retired last year, or a year before that he could have. He could have retired after the first Canelo fight, right? But then he wanted more of Canelo. He wanted to seal his legacy with Canelo. But do you honestly think he can do that shit at 38 years old after being notice he was hurt, right, by Deverenchenko? You think Canelo can't do that same shit? As much as Canelo loves to work the body now, put those punches together, all right? Yeah, and it's not, I think it's Golovkin's left side, not his right side. You know, because that's what Deverenchenko, bow, caught this boy, hit Golovkin. Golovkin paused. We never seen that, ever. In any Golovkin fight, you never seen him hurt like that, ever. You seen him huffing in the second Canelo fight because Canelo was taking the fight to him, but we never seen anything like that. Golovkin's being hurt more because he's getting older. He can't do the things that he used to do. He's not as sharp, and he's losing it fight by fight. He gets in there and fights a guy that gave him 2 good damn fights already. That's in his peak. While he's on the downcline, it's a perfect recipe for disaster. I'm with Abel Sanchez, regardless of how they broke up. I can't see him telling a lie, right? Now, it's up to Abel Sanchez if he really wants Golovkin to lose or win. You know what I'm saying? That's up to him. Only he knows that in his heart, him and the big man upstairs. So that's that. But what is he saying? It's absolutely true. Golovkin could get hurt because we've already seen him hurt after never seeing him hurt. Facts. Okay? So, yeah. And then Canelo takes him out the 3rd fight. He's going to look like a damn superstar. The first one to take the fight, to take the win from Golovkin, and the first one to stop Golovkin. Right? And of course, coming off a Kovalev win in a higher weight class, yeah, I could see that happening. And in anybody that's seen my channel, my counterpunch to Gennady Golovkin, I wanted him to retire 2 years ago. His wife told him to retire, and I agree with her. Stay at home with your boys. Watch them grow with the right mind. No, Mac, no. Don't get punchy trying to run after a red-headed superstar, El Cinnamon. It's not worth it. He should have seen that the first fight. The first fight was good enough for us. All right? Good enough for me. And the second fight was overboard. They went balls to the wall. It was a good fight. But I'm going to tell you, Abel Sanchez is right. Golovkin could get hurt. I feel he could get hurt. Timing is everything, people. He's coming in at the wrong time, at the ass end of his career. Okay? So, if I'm not mistaken, I believe Joe Louis was 38 years old when he got knocked out by Rocky Marciano. Okay? Matter of fact, let me look it up real quick. How old was Joe Louis when he got knocked out by Rocky Marciano?
Here's a summary from Wikipedia. The 28-year-old Marciano
He was 37.
took on 37-year-old Joe Louis.
He was 37, okay? So he was 37 years old. Rocky Marciano was 28. Canelo Alvarez, 29. Golovkin's 38. Okay, matter of fact, is Golovkin 38 yet? How old is Gennady Golovkin?
38 years
See, he's 38. He just turned 38. That should tell you everything you need to know. Father Time will beat you. What Father Time won't beat, Canelo will. Okay? It might be 50% Father Time, the other 50 Canelo Time. Okay? So let's keep it real. This is not a good fight for Golovkin. Golovkin should have fought all these other fighters like Charlo. He could have fought Charlo, Andrade, Billy Joe. He didn't want those. He wanted to follow Canelo. Hey, there's a saying. You keep asking for something, you just may get it. But anyway, you guys tell me what you think about Abel Sanchez's comments, predictions. Of course, please subscribe. And you guys been Counterpunch. Peace.